Get ready for the Squawking Eagles podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Thanksgiving Day edition of the Squawking Eagles podcast. We are joined again by Mark and Miguel. How's it going, guys? Happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Let's go.
Gobble, gobble. Happy
Gobble,
Thanksgiving.
Gobble. Here we are, Thanksgiving Day 2022. And we're here to talk about, we're going to talk about the three Thanksgiving Day games between the Bills and the Lions, the Giants and Cowboys, and the Patriots and Vikings. And then we're gonna talk about this past week's game where the Colts and the Eagles fought a hard battle where the Eagles finally came on top, and I think they only led by 80 seconds of the game. So that's an interesting fact right there.
Talk
and then
about
right. I think our in-game takes was so many curse words I had to put the warning signs on it because for the first time.
Oops.
And so I guess, and then we'll talk a little bit about this week's Green Bay Packer game, and then we'll wrap it up.
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers. All right. So who wants to get started first? You want to get started first, Miguel?
Well, Mike, I want to, we closed out the last pod with you admitting that you never watched the game live.
Yes.
So we want to hear your experience of watching the game live for the first time in a while.
It was definitely, I guess, more like aggravating to me because I had to, wait in between plays and I couldn't fast forward through the commercials. I got, waiting it just took the whole day. Like it felt like it was the whole day.
World, Mike. Those are called beer, okay. You take a beer run, you take a shot, run to the bathroom.
Man, it was grueling for me. It was not enjoyable, especially it was not an enjoyable game at all. Like I didn't enjoy watching that game at all. And so it would have been nice to fast forward through all that nonsense that they put in there. But I watched. So they won. So I guess I'm bad luck for the Colts when I watch games live.
I don't know about the Colts. That was a bad luck game for us.
Right. It was bad. It was bad. I watched the game live for the first time in quite a long, a live Sunday game because I always, those night games I can't record, but a live Sunday morning game. And, I guess I don't know what the Eagles did. What did the Eagles do? Like, what did they do to prove to anybody that they are a 9-1 team?
We won.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah.
In a place the Chiefs lost.
Yes.
On the
road. You can't make that the only the key part of it. Like,
who's the best team in the AFC right now?
The Chiefs.
Okay, and who'd they lose to?
The Colts.
But there's no player difference. I'm looking at the team. Oh, Naeem Hines isn't there. So
but any given Sunday, any team can get beat. It doesn't mean that
you're right. You're right. And the difference is on our Sunday we won, and on their Sunday they lost.
Okay. Right. On their given Sunday.
We were given a Sunday. They were given a Sunday. We just came out on top.
Right. Could you say also they had two different coaches when they played, so it kind of technically is not the same, right?
Yeah, exactly. They lost to the coach that got fired, and we beat the coach that came in and turned that team around.
That's true, too, yes.
Really turn it around one game?
This is only the second game.
And
it
was a
win. That they beat? What was the team that they beat?
You're right. But have you noticed Jonathan Taylor playing better the past 2 weeks? Back-to-back weeks, Taylor's playing better.
I give you Carr had a better game, but
No, not Carr. Taylor. Taylor is playing better than he has all season.
Yeah, he had a good first half. He had a good first half.
You go back one game when he played. Granted, I know it was the Raiders, okay, but what are you doing against the Raiders? 147 yards. It's almost like a seasoned offensive lineman got in there and said, "Hey, O-line, we're going to block and we're going to run the ball because we've got a really good running back and not throw it around with an aging Matty Ice." Frank Reich's a quarterback's guy. Went with an aging quarterback. And look, I'm not hating on Matt Ryan. He's just a little older, and he doesn't really have all the weapons. Michael Pittman, I believe in Michael Pittman is a good player, but he is a possession back. He's not going to do Tyreek Hill things. He's going to do more like Calvin Johnson things, just a little bit smaller. What we were doing and need to get back to, which is run the ball, hit them in the mouth, and then take the open plays when they're given to you. Saturday knows that. Saturday's going to do that. I expect the Colts to have a slightly better end of their season. I don't expect them to do anything great, but they're going to do better than they did the first half. If we decide to get back to the way we play football, we'll be fine.
But that's the thing. That was the thing that was concerning me, though. All right, you make this presentation of Saturday is a offensive lineman, right? And he's supposed to do the offensive line and have them block. But we had more trouble with the defense than we had with the offense. So to me, it was more of our offense not getting on the same page, because there was a lot of times I seen Jalen Hurts drop back and he would start panicking even though he didn't need to panic. He would run out of that pocket.
You're right. And I said this last week, and I said it last week from last week's game, and I said it prior to this game, and I'm going to say it again. So 2 weeks ago, we blamed everything on Gannon. And I said, look, I get it, but it's not just on Gannon. It's on Sirianni for A, not making those adjustments, and B, for as much as we want to blame the defense, our offense played really poor. Oh, we ran the ball. Yeah, we ran the ball 18 times in the second half when we were already down out of the 20 total, or 16 out of the 20 total. That's not a good recipe for success. This week, we did the same thing. We came out, we ran the ball 4 or 5 times the entire first half. I don't know why, because yet again, I'm looking at the stats right here. Running back Miles Sanders, now granted, he only had 47 rushing yards against the Colts, still averaged 3.6, so a little under his 4, which he seems to be hitting almost every week. Granted, we ran really weird plays. I really love to study the way teams play. I know DeForest Buckner, former Oregon Duck. I know Cotwell, whatever his name is, on Indianapolis. I know Indianapolis is really good up the middle defensively. If you look at their entire team as a whole, their best package is right there in the middle of their D-line and the running back when he's good. And what do? We ran dive plays all day. And when we finally run like a sweep or even a veer or a zone, Sanders got like 6-7 yards. It was like, hey, don't run into their 2 best players. You'll be fine. But and look, as we mentioned before, I love Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce is an undersized center, and our guards are not as good as our tackles. So when the middle of the D line is really, really good at breaking down guys, why are we going like our weakest part of our O line against their strongest part of their D line and saying, yeah, we're going to win this?
They don't see that. They don't see that their interior linemen are undersized and under. Because if they did, then why are they running dive plays up the middle? What are they doing that for? That's the only question. Right. That's the only answer.
I get maybe they're thinking, okay, teams aren't expecting you to run a dive behind one of the small centers in the NFL. You're thinking, okay, well, he has the pulling guard mentality. You see how many times Kelce has amazing pulls, makes blocks downfield. He does a phenomenal job at that. You must expect, like, all right, they're not going to run up the middle, so we're like, oh, we're going to run up the middle, and they're just, they're like, we don't care where you run it. We're going to be in the middle because that's what we're good at. Run it outside, but we need to run the ball more, get back to the run, and we're fine. And I said last week, because of the loss, you're going to see Hurts start trying to play a little hero ball.
Which he was doing that. He was doing that. You're right. I was thinking about you the whole time. I'm like, he's trying to be a hero here, and we don't need that.
He had to be.
He didn't have to be. We had to have better coaching.
Exactly, and that's another thing. It's like, what is Steichen calling? Because if he's the one calling, well, between him and Sirianni calling the plays lately, it's been a little skeptical.
And I did get it wrong about Pascal, though.
What happened?
I thought Zach Pascal would score a touchdown. He didn't.
Well, I thought they would score a lot more touchdowns than that.
Yeah. Well, we all did, I think, at that point. But yeah, shit needs to get corrected.
Hey, but I
didn't think Goddard being out would have such an impact on the offense the way it did. I thought, hey, we'd see a lot more 3-4 wide outs. You know what I mean? Or have Pascal try to take some of those plays that Goddard was running, and and had some success there. But I don't know what it was. We just couldn't get nothing done.
I can tell you exactly what it was. This is something that I've talked to a lot of kids about locally when I talk to some of my neighbors and such about football and how they're going to play when they're receivers and tight ends. You got to make that chip block. whether you're a running back, wide receiver, X, it doesn't matter. If you're on the movement and there's a lined out DN and in your path, you need to hit at least something. You need to, if it's a half second or, a full second, doesn't matter. You need to get that hit, even if it's not your job to block on that play. Unless it's a screenplay where you're going out and you're supposed to let the DN crash so that you're wide open, that chip, that just half second stutter gives your quarterback so much extra time to make that play. And I'm watching, that's the difference with Goddard. If Goddard's on a passing route, he still makes sure he contacts somebody on the D line. Where Stoll, nothing against him, I like him, but he's just got to learn that. And you see the same out of our backs. The Sanders and whoever, I saw Gainwell twice pop out of the back, not touch the incoming D end, and then Hurts is scrambling.
And that's my point of Sirianni and Steichen having to step in and tell those guys, hey, this is what we need you to do. There should have been an adjustment made.
Agreed. I think the other issue though is you got to keep in mind that like you're trying to tell a 24, 25-year-old like, hey, I know you've been playing this way your whole life, but stop it, you're doing it wrong, and they're just not going to listen to you. They should, but it's something that's like mentally, if you've been doing this position for 10 years, and all those 10 years you're not doing this, someone goes, hey, you should do this. While you're thinking about it now on the sideline, you get into the play, you're hitting the play, you're gone. I've missed it.
Yeah. Well, it was proof in that first drive where the penalties were called on the backup tight ends. Cal Cotera and Stoll both had penalties called on them, and it was proof that was the show that that Dallas Goddard was definitely missed.
How do you like that first and 35?
I couldn't believe it.
I wanted to throw my phone through the television at that point. I'm like, are you
kept going
serious?
backwards.
Yeah. And that was the problem, is they were so easily self-corrected, those penalties. Like, those weren't like, oh, bad call. No, they were obvious of us just making stupid mistakes. Bro, it's week, 11 now?
Yeah.
You should not be making, granted, you're in the NFL, you shouldn't be making the dumb mistakes anyway, but, like, I get the first week or two, especially if you're a newer team. Like, one thing, I would have understood if, like, Joseph or Sue had jumped off sides on a play. Because they played well. They played very well.
They made a play together. They played outstanding.
Great. They said, welcome to Philadelphia play. I loved it.
They said, meet me at the quarterback.
Yeah, they played. They were not a problem at all. They were ready to play. I was impressed with the fact that they were so well.
Matter of fact, I think they were a big part of why they stopped Taylor in the second half.
I agree.
I think we played them more in the second half. I didn't look at the exact numbers, but I think both of them had a lot more reps in the second half, and I think it was mainly that. Because I think the first half, it was one of those, we'll put you in a few spots, but try not to mess with the rotation. And then we realized, Taylor's getting close to 100 yards on us. We got to do something about this. The man scored down a touchdown, the very first drive.
Yeah, it was a drive. I couldn't believe that first drive that the Colts put together. It was as if the Eagles weren't even on the field.
I'll also say, another thing, I was looking at their players. So Paris Campbell, decent receiver, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. Pittman did what I thought he was going to do. He didn't score, but I don't know if you watch some of those plays he made. He made sure he got himself between our defender and the ball, and he's going to come down with that every time. You can't give him the spacing you do other receivers because, I think, was it Bradbury or Slay? One of them caught him square in the back as he's catching the ball, and most receivers drop that pass.
Yeah, he didn't.
He's not going to drop that. If you're there after it's in his hands, he's got it. We can't let that kind of stuff happen with players like that.
Right. Yeah. It's granted that Slay was left alone with Pittman most of the time, I think.
Yeah.
But when he did get a lot of he did pick Slay apart some of those plays. But he was really.
I think the problem is Slay's very good at not getting beat over the top, which is why we love him. But like a player like Pittman's, no offense, Pittman, you're not going to beat people over the top. You're not a 4-3 receiver. I think you're like a 4-5, 4-6. Like Slay could have played him close and not worried about getting beat deep. Right. But it's all right. We still won the game.
Yeah, granted, we did win the game, but there's all those haters out there still saying, well, they only beat the Colts by 1 point. Is it really a win? I'm like, yeah, it is still a win. It was not a pretty win, but a win in the win column. We were still 9-1. We still have the best record in football. My wife asked me the other day. She goes, "Who's the best team in football?" And she goes, "Don't say the Eagles." Well,
it's the Eagles.
So I said to her, "All right, well, what are your qualifications for the best football team in the NFL?" She's like, "Well, who is the best record?" I was okay. What else? What are the other qualifications? He goes, that's it. If they have the best record, they're the best team in the football. So and she goes, who is it? I was like, the Eagles. They're 9-1. She's like, no, it can't be the best. They are. They are 9-1. They are the best team in football, and people can't deny that. He can't deny that they have the best record. Who can't? The Colts beat the Chiefs. How is that an easy schedule, right?
So in the NFC, obviously we're 9-1. Yeah. Behind us in the NFC North is now the Vikings 8-2 after their dismal performance.
Oh man,
they're the only team with 2 losses in the NFC.
Yeah,
everyone else has 3 or more. So we're not even like, oh, we're in first. We're solidly in first, and it's like we beat the Cowboys, we beat the Vikings, we beat the Commanders once, then we threw 1 game away. Excuse me, but like, I'm looking across this lineup. The Lions are in second in their division. Yeah. We beat them.
Who called that game on Sunday?
Yeah, that was a good game, though. That was a good game.
I expected it to be a blowout, but
yeah, right. That was great. That was great. Yeah.
I love how at one point in the season, though, the Jaguars were like, "We're going to win the AFC South," and then we beat them, and I don't think they've won yet.
They might not. Actually, I think they won the week before.
Was the week before?
They did.
They did win 1 game since they played the Eagles.
Lost to the Eagles, lost to the Texans, the Colts, the Giants, the Broncos. They beat the Raiders. You're right by 1 touchdown.
I was going to say the Raiders.
I was going to say anybody who plays the Raiders, they lose anyway, except for the Broncos.
And I'm gonna harp on this, I guess, the rest of the season. Fire McDaniels, not Miami's McDaniels, the Raiders McDaniels. Yeah. What is happening?
Like, what is going on here?
Bro, you were supposed to compete in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL this year. You're not. Right. Not only are you not competing with your division, you're not competing in the NFL at all.
Right now, they're talking about getting rid of Carr next year. Then he's not even going to be on the team.
I don't really blame
the talk Carr. Was the trade Carr for Carson Wentz. I heard. I read that. Yeah, Carson Wentz will be playing the Raiders next year. I watch.
You know what you might see? If the coach goes, there's a chance you might see Mariota back there
in Los Angeles, in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he had a really, really good game there. He had good chemistry with the team, and for as much as Atlanta has not done great, they are, they're doing okay. They're serviceable, and he's played statistically well.
Well, they just lost Kyle Pitts.
Receivers.
They just lost Kyle Pitts.
I guess you weren't watching that game, but that injury, the moment I saw it, it wasn't vicious, but the moment he planted that knee, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't read any updates, but it looked like a soft tissue injury that might be long term.
He said it was an MCL tear, and so he's done for the year.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then didn't London get hurt too?
I don't know.
I know he had a touchdown, but I thought he got. It might have been like a little stinger. Anyway,
so there's a lot. There's a lot going on with Vegas, and we should keep an eye on that because I'd love to see Carson Wentz go to the Raiders and him go out there.
The Raiders though.
Yeah,
I don't see anybody.
Carson Wentz, he's a badass. He's a badass. He's a Raider. He's a Raider.
I was talking to I think I was talking to my cousin earlier. I was saying, watch Aaron Rodgers follow Brett Favre's path and be on the Jets next season.
No, man. You see, Zach Wilson. I think they averaged 2 inches in the second half or something like that. Yeah, and he's not going to start Sunday.
Yeah, he got
what though?
Yeah.
With if Hall comes back from injury, as long as he recovers, which honestly, with an injury the way he had this season, he shouldn't come back next season. He should take a full year, like mid next season. But if they keep the players they have, especially receiver wise, and he comes back, Aaron Rodgers actually might make a difference in the Jets.
Yeah, they're not a terrible team. They're not a terrible
team.
Need
a quarterback. They just need a quarterback. They got nice young players.
I think they might need a little bit better O-line. Because I know Wilson, for as bad as Wilson's been, he's been also chased around quite a bit.
Yeah, the O-line needs some work. They've known that for a couple years, but
I just look it up.
Put Rodgers back there with those young receivers.
Bro, they have the same record as the Bengals.
Yeah,
that's crazy. They're the bottom of their division. And they are better than everyone else except the leaders of the other divisions.
Right. If they had won that game, they were first in the East. And now they lost or in last.
What a heartbreaker, man.
It's crazy that the AFC East and the NFC East have been the two toughest divisions this season. When, like, I'll be honest, I know a lot of people weren't expecting much out of Tua. Obviously, everyone thought the Bills were going to be great because everyone is loving on the Bills the way they used to love on Tom Brady.
Well, because of that AFC Championship game from last year.
Yeah, it's still not that good though. No one expected much out of the Jets. You look at the AFC West, and I know a lot of other people are saying the AFC West was going to be a crazy thing to watch. Russell Wilson is, washed up. The Raiders are. I mean, the fact that the Broncos are now in last in that division is almost painful after seeing the way the Raiders play.
Yeah.
AFC North, everyone thought, the Bengals are going to repeat. The Bengals haven't looked good. They're in second, but you have the Browns and the Steelers in your division.
Yeah.
Who's going to lose those? And then the AFC South is just, bad.
Yeah, next year I have a thought. Maybe we've talked about it on the podcast. What would the divisions look like if we realigned them to what they should be?
I did that. I have it saved somewhere.
Okay, we should talk about doing that and just follow it throughout the whole year next year and see how it would pan out overall. I think we're going to do something like that. The Cowboys would be gone. Cowboys wouldn't be in the East.
Right. So who would you replace them with?
The Carolina Panthers.
Oh, Carolina.
So are you realigning just divisions or realigning conferences entirely?
Divisions.
Okay, because I did conferences entirely.
Oh wow. I was going to do divisions.
Let's make it make sense travel wise. If you're to make life as easy as you can on each other.
Oh, East West divisions. Oh, okay. We could do something like that.
Closest travel. So Miami, or not Miami, New England, Buffalo, New York. That's like a division in itself, right there.
Right.
Because New York's got two teams. For us, we've got it was Philly, Baltimore, Washington, and the Steelers.
Right.
It's those small little pockets of teams to create the division as best they can for lack of travel. Granted, Kansas City had a bit of their Kansas City have to travel a little bit.
Right.
Seattle had to travel a little bit, but overall, I recondensed each of them and then split conferences.
Interesting. We might do both of those. Both of those ideas I think is a good idea. I think we'll do something like that.
It's a lot of fun.
That will be fun. We'll definitely do something like that next year, as our podcast grows and our listenership grows. We have other things coming. So, what we're gonna say?
No, I was just saying. I'm looking at everything right now, and no matter what I look at, my brain still hurts that we lost to Heineke.
I posted that video on Instagram, and I still getting comments about that. I'm crying. I'm not crying about it. I am pointing out that it was a penalty that was missed and cause an injury that's going to last over the next 4 weeks. I'm not crying. I'm just pointing out that that's a major loss for the Eagles.
I'm about to point out. I'll take it now. It's a loss. That's fine.
Yeah.
However, as I said last week, I'm saying it again. The refs need to be penalized for missing a play like that, and I think that's across the board, not just for us. I think that's on ground because it happened the other day in the. We had one this past game. Graham pulled someone down by a face mask.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Wasn't penalized. Should be.
The refs they do get graded. They do get graded at the end of the game. So
not by much.
They don't get penalized.
Like I said, the NHL refs get penalized, and since that's happened, they're a lot better at their job. The penalties are much more agreeable. I mean, you watch some games,
out of my pocket, we good.
Right? Yeah,
it makes sense.
Well, they did a study in baseball that minor league umpires are 100% better than major league umpires, and they figured it's because the minor league players are trying to get to the major leagues. They have everything to gain. They don't want to lose out getting there. Guys in the majors, they're there. They have nothing to lose. They're not going anywhere. Once they're up, they're not going anywhere.
That's
and
why
they have no incentive to be good.
If I watch basketball, I like watching college basketball. They try. The NBA, I mean, granted, you see the highest scoring games, but it's not. It's just a shooting game. It might as well be a home run derby. I'm going to stand here and shoot threes all night. Well, I'm going to stand here and shoot threes all night. We're not going to play defense because it's illegal now. So we're just going to stand here. I mean, I remember as a kid watching games end 80 to 70 or, so, oh my God, someone scored 100 points. Now it's like, wait, you didn't score 100 points? Are you even playing tonight?
Yep.
How has that become the change? I mean, I've seen a lot of changes in the sports growing up, but I've never seen like soccer is not suddenly 5 goals, 10 goals a game. Hockey is not scoring. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's outliers, but you're not averaging these. NFL is not suddenly scoring 80, 70 points per team per game.
No.
You know, it might be a little bit more because it's more passing, but it's like a touchdown or more, not a 20, 30, 40.
And as you say that, I'm sitting here watching Spain play Costa Rica, and they're up 5-0. So
Wow.
The World Cup's a little different. Which I know we're a football, Eagles focused podcast, but a little side note because of history. Argentina was at 36 straight wins, got upset by Saudi Arabia the other day.
Did they really?
The largest upset in FIFA history.
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Messi scored the first goal.
Yeah. And he scored a second goal, but they waved it off.
Yeah, it was offsides or something, right?
Yeah. The
offsides rule in soccer is just unreal. Like, I could just step forward and you're offsides, it doesn't count. Like, you're not allowed to be in front of me.
Right.
Wow, that's wild. I never got into soccer. I have no idea.
I usually watch.
You sound like my father. My father.
No idea.
I watched the Union. I thought they had the win when I left the house because they were up.
Yeah,
it was painful. And
sure
I watched
like
the World Cup. Man. Philadelphia, the only city in the world to lose 2 major championships in one game.
Yeah, right. That sucks.
Thanks for the reminder, Mark.
You're welcome.
We already discussed that already.
I'm here to love you.
Anyway, back to the Eagles.
So, big Eagles. Eagles are not playing on Thanksgiving Day this year. I think the last time they played was about 2015, I think.
Which is good because I don't because when I watch the game on Sundays at my family's house, at my dad's house, we eat at halftime, right? We'll have dinner at halftime or after the game. Most of us eat. So it's like if you're playing on Thanksgiving, it's like, when do you eat? Like, if you eat early, by the time your game comes on, possibly you'll be half asleep.
Right? Yeah.
At that point, So it's just like, if you wait too long, you'll be hungry all day. So I thank the NFL for not letting us play on Thanksgiving this year.
We are 6-1 on Thanksgiving, though.
Yes.
Wow.
They definitely have a good record. Yes.
Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've played a few. I was trying to see here. I saw it. Yeah, unlike Dallas, they're 31-22. Yes, they get to play the most, but it's barely a winning record, Dallas.
Yeah, we'll probably eat dinner. We'll probably eat around 1:00, and I'll miss that first game, and I'll watch that Dallas Giants game after that.
Yeah.
So the first game is Buffalo-Detroit. That's our first game. Buffalo, who has now played 2 weeks in a row in Detroit.
Which team is going to be the home team now?
Right, so technically Detroit's the home team, right? And I think that they've been doing nice little back and forth on Twitter, where we said that Detroit told them the keys are on the counter, lock up when you're gone, and then Buffalo said everything was great, and they sent them donuts. They sent everybody donuts and everything like that. So it's been a fun back and forth for them.
That's good. That's awesome. That's like watching the Twitter beef between all the fast food chains.
Exactly.
Bro, I'll tell you what. That's one thing. Wendy's dominates that.
Oh yeah,
right.
The social media of some of these places, they're definitely getting better. And I will say that was a nice thing from Detroit. I thought it was funny. We'll see how they do this week. Obviously, it looks like they might be giving Al. Maybe they'll give Allen half a day off and just.
Yeah, it might not be a competitive game between those two teams.
Yeah,
I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Buffalo's going to need that game.
They do. They're going to. But I don't know. Detroit. They're so difficult to understand because
they're gonna gnaw at those kneecaps, Mike.
I don't know.
I'm telling you. You didn't think they were gonna be the Giants last week, and look what they did.
No, I did not think that at all.
Yeah,
they just took it to them. They just took it to the Giants. It was great to watch.
Yeah, I mean the Giants are frauds. And I told y'all from the Giants games, the 2 left that we have to play them. I'm not worried about those 2 games at all. I'm worried about the Titans game, one of the Dallas games, and possibly Green Bay, depending on how Aaron looks.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that in a second. The second game is that Giants Cowboys game, which. It's going to be entertaining to watch, and I always, we always hope that they both could get a loss, but that's going to be
play for the tie, fellas.
Play for a tie. What do you guys think that game is going to be like?
I hope it's brutal. I'll be sipping on my coquito like I am right now, watching that game, and I hope I don't wish anybody any bad will, but I wouldn't mind if a couple key players went down for a couple weeks.
Yeah, never want to wish ill will on anybody, but if you're a Giant and a Cowboy player, it's okay if it happens.
Roll your ankle, nothing serious.
A high ankle sprain. What's a high ankle sprain? Like, what is that?
Extremely painful. It has been ruining my entire life as it happens.
Where is that? Where is that part of your body? Where's the high ankle?
Well, the thing is, typically when you roll your ankle, what you're spraining is where your foot and the ankle come together. You're spraining the tendons that kind of curve across the foot. Yeah. The high ankle is the tendons that link your actual leg to your foot, so it's a longer muscle. When that sprains, it takes a lot longer for that to heal because the length and the build of that muscles or that tendon is not used to stretching like that. Yeah. So it's high ankle because it reaches higher up on your leg where the connection is.
High ankle sprain.
But for instance, since mine, which happened in 2012, my left foot still doesn't, like, if I put my legs out, like my hands are like this, my left foot sits like this.
Yeah, I had that same problem with my arms.
Yeah, that's when I rolled my ankle. I guess you would call it a high ankle sprain. Never really healed up, and then I broke it the same ankle a year later. So
high ankle sprain, you also you're gonna have trouble walking for 6 months. Like, it's not something you do without a boot.
All right.
Unless, of course, you're an NFL player.
Right. So now we have the Cowboys and Giants. Hopefully, I guess the Giants did get destroyed by the Lions, so they're definitely going to cut them out. And
but you got to remember though, for as much as we talk about that, the Lions have been meh.
Yeah, but
have they not had the highest average points per game, like second or third in the NFL? Yeah. Like, they're still offensively hurting people.
Yeah, they are definitely an offensive team, and they lack defense. They've also given up the most points.
Yeah.
So you can't win games that way. That's going to be hard for them. So I'm going to probably after are the Cowboys going to have a down game after blowing out the Vikings? That was a giant blowout. That was. Kirk Cousins didn't throw a touchdown pass. It was the first time in I think 37 starts that he didn't throw a touchdown pass.
And they were home.
And they were home. Yeah,
you were home. That was pathetic.
Yeah, I think we kind of saw what the Vikings are.
Yeah.
I think it's still didn't prove anything.
I don't know if you heard, because of the time difference, and Kirk Cousins was a little confused, thought it was prime time. So he was like, I don't know what I'm doing today.
It was game of the. They were on prime time because they moved it because of the soccer, so that's why they were both on CBS. So it was kind of a prime time game.
He thought it was.
He definitely did it because he shriveled up on that game. He was just.
It was cold.
Shrinkage. It's Minnesota. It's shrinkage.
I will say, the Cowboys, I guess, they had a chip on their shoulder. They had just lost to the Packers, who are 4 wins all season. They had 3 coming into the game.
Yeah.
They had to do something to get themselves back together.
Yeah, and it's also an NFC East game. NFC East game. So those games kind of you got to throw everything out the window, and it's just always different when.
Hey, if Saquon wants to put it on this weekend, tomorrow, I'm all about it. I'm okay if the Giants win this game. I don't hate them.
No, because I think the Giants are frauds, like you said, Miguel. The Giants are the worst, best team.
So the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the Cowboys.
Gun to head, if I have to make a bet on this game, definitely betting the Giants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. I'd love to.
Who out of the two teams is the bigger rivalry for you two? I think for every Eagles fan, it's a little different. But
it is the Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Just because of the records. It's we've had, don't get me wrong, the Giants have had good seasons. Hell, they had a few Super Bowls. But I feel like more often we have good games against the Giants, whether it be something that we have just historically or just we play the Giants well, and their teams have been we always play them towards the end of the season. They're always kind of a little mismatch. We're Dallas, half my life is we would win in Dallas. Dallas would win here.
Yeah.
Year after year after year. And it was I don't want to lose Dallas at home. And so it was nice to finally win at home. Can we win it down in Jerry's World? I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I'm excited for that game.
Especially because Davis will be back for that game. And that won't be any concern.
Well, and Dak should be playing.
Well, yeah, but Dak is suddenly going to have to not just worry about like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Suddenly you're going to have, Jordan Davis is going to eat Pollard and Zeke, and all of a sudden you're going to have Josh Sweat and Sue and Joseph rotating in, going like, hey, you know what I really like to do? I know what Sue really likes to do. He likes to be quarterback.
They're going to be rested too, coming off the bench. Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to be so nice.
This defense sounds like the '80s defense. It's like you can name everybody. Like everybody has an impact.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
It does. Yeah.
I suddenly need to get more jerseys.
Right. Right. I almost pulled the trigger on getting a Hurts jersey this weekend. And I was like,
I'm not touching another quarterback jersey. I'm not doing another quarterback jersey.
Yeah,
I want, honestly, I want our O-line. I want a Johnson. I want a Kelsey. I want a Mailata.
Yeah, I kind of want a Kelsey one. I kind of want a Kelsey.
I got a Kelsey.
Especially before he retires. I got to get a Kelsey jersey.
Yeah.
Although, Travis, he was here on a podcast, and, it's like, maybe Goddard's getting hurt. We could use a little, I don't think Kansas City needs a tight end anymore.
Right. He is all their touchdowns.
He balled out the other day.
Yeah, he did.
It's the only thing that ever saves them is Kelsey. Kelsey is literally their whole team.
I'm glad because I got him on my fantasy team and he just keeps eating up numbers. I get double-digit points from him. It's great.
What's your record now? 2-10.
I am now 4-6, baby.
There you go. I didn't actually look at my teams.
I'm going to win out. I'm going to win out and make the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to win out.
I came back and won my money league that I was losing by like 30 points. Let's go.
So the third game, just real quick, the third game is the Patriots and the Vikings. I don't know, like Patriots look like trash.
That game.
Same. I won't even know who's playing. I don't even know where I am at that point.
I mean, is it not considered a primetime game?
It's considered a primetime game. Yeah.
So expect the Patriots to win.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll go with that that rationale. Primetime.
Let me see what the DraftKings has with that. I might put some shekels.
I say if the DraftKings is telling you that the money is on Vikings, it's some.
I'll tell you right now.
Quick cash.
Yeah, that is for sure. So they'll be entertaining games, I would say. Mostly, I'm interested in that the Cowboys and Giants.
The Patriots are favored.
Say prime time. You said it, prime time.
It's prime time, and is it not in Boston? Oh, it is in.
It's in Minnesota.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
prime time it is.
Yeah, it's because it's prime time, and after that, the Patriots to win on a runoff punt return is just like that was heartbreaking for the Jets. That was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Sean, who's a Jets fan, sent me a picture of his son.
Shout out Beckerman, number one.
Yeah.
Sorry to talk to your team about this, but
Yeah, he sent me a picture of his son on the couch, not happy. and then to add insult to injury, I came and beat his fantasy team too. I was like, double wins for me. That's great.
Here's a fantasy question for you going into this week. So I didn't realize my money league, I've got Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, and Jalen Waddle as my receivers.
Wow.
But 2 weeks ago, out of a whim, I picked up Christian Watson, who has been absolute fire of a draft.
Yeah.
Now, he's playing Philadelphia, so I don't want to start him.
I'm sitting him. I'm not going to play him.
Well, I was like, because I have to start Waddle. He's playing Houston. I have to start Hopkins because he's the only option Arizona has. Yeah. Stephon Diggs, Stephon Diggs, I'm like, he might do really well, or like the other week where he didn't have a catch the entire first half.
Yeah,
I almost lost my game because he just couldn't make a single catch.
Yeah, I'm not going to start Jalen Hurts this week. I'm going to start Justin Herbert because he's going against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals look like trash.
Yeah. Oh, ever since Warzone came out,
Warzone did come out.
He's taking a really long time to heal up, man. He's just taking a real long time to heal up.
Yeah, heal up. Whatever other words he needs to use for that game or whatever else he's doing. I kind of feel bad for the man.
He's a fraud. He's got to be a fraud. I know he wants
to play, but it's hard, but statistically, he's doing pretty good, isn't he?
I don't think he's going to be much longer in Arizona if he keeps up the way he's keeping up.
Like last I checked, okay, so he's fallen down a little bit. Okay, he's down behind Russell Wilson for yards, which is kind of saying something. But
yeah, and Russell Wilson plays he's never played before, really.
Yeah,
let's ride, Bronco Country, let's ride. Ride to the bank. Ride to the bank.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's the only riding he's ever done.
The only one riding the Sierra right now.
Also,
win or lose, that's what he's still doing, right?
You're not wrong. I have to say, though, again, I'm looking over a lot of the stats, and again, right now, your leaders are Tua and Geno.
It's amazing. That's
as much as people are talking about,
Josh Allen,
Patrick Mahomes. Neither one of them is.
I remember saying a couple of weeks ago on the pod, I was like, "Does this year feel weird? Like it's
weird.
Just feels off." And having Geno look like the way he looks, and Russell Wilson looking the way he looks, it's just.
Josh Allen's completion percentage and accuracy is lower than Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Kenny Pickett. Those some players down there. And then Pat Mahomes is just above that. You still have Herbert, Murray, Jordan Love, Andy Dalton, Jimmy G, and Dak Prescott all above them. I understand they throw it more. I mean, Pat Mahomes by far has more yardage than anyone else down there with him. Besides Josh Allen, a little close to him, still a little behind. But their completion percentage is a little,
Yeah, it's definitely a weird year. It's definitely a weird year.
History of the Eagles going 9-1.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be. Are they going to be the first? Are they going to be the first team to win double digits this year? They'll be the first team, right?
It'll be the first double-digit team in the history of the Eagles. When you're 9-1, you end up having to play in February.
Yeah, I'll take it.
As much as I'm excited about that, I think I mentioned before, I had an agreement with some friends that the next time the Eagles make it in my life, I'm going.
Right.
So it looks like I have to get a loan. I'm going to need to get a loan.
You need to go to Glendale.
I can't afford this.
I'm excited. It would be nice to do a Super Bowl podcast. That'd be great to be able to do that.
I mean, maybe just do a trip to Arizona and do a podcast there and be like, we're outside the game.
Right, we could do that.
If only we can get sponsors.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying, guys. If anybody want to sponsor us, we're open to it. We're open to it.
No.
That's something we can talk about too. So yeah, we don't want to talk too much about this week's game between the Packers and Eagles. We'll save that for our next podcast. This was mostly just about Thanksgiving and our little wrap up of that Colts game. Another thing about the Cowboys win, and not to go backwards, but I posted something like somebody was celebrating about the huge win over the Vikings. I posted a comment. I said, "Oh, it must feel like the '90s again for you Cowboys fans." And boy, did I get hell for saying that. They're like, "Well, you guys barely beat the Colts. You barely beat the Colts. You lost the Commanders." I'm like, "Wow, like, wow." Wow, you guys really took it hard, that 90s comment. Like, come on, Cowboys fans. I guess if you could always bring up how we always throw snowballs at Santa and we only eat cheesesteaks, so I guess we could say, you guys still live in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still hate us for cheering when Michael Irvin went down and cheering for him went down at Veterans Stadium.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's the past. It's rough games. And, I'm looking at this. You know what I see, though? I see that Saquon is only behind Derrick Henry in yards this season. Right. Maybe he wants to pass Henry today or tomorrow. Maybe he's like, hey, you know what, Derrick Henry? Look, I know you're the king right now, but I want to go to Dallas and just put up 200 yards.
Right. It would be
Why
great.
Not?
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'm big on the running game. I'm not a passing. I like more like the running the ball, the pounding the ball. So that would be great to see.
Yeah, if only we could follow that with Miles Sanders being, still in the top 10 of running backs.
Can they please start running the ball? Can we please start running the ball?
Like, dude, we have a top 10 runner who doesn't get carries in the first half.
RPO,
like, he's top 10.
We're running RPOs.
Yeah, well, you can suck my RPO.
I like the idea of RPO, but I'm not liking it right now.
It's a really good design idea once in a blue moon because it throws a team off. If you run it 24/7, you're not like. It's like I said earlier about the screens and the quarterback plays. This was the first week I saw a quarterback run that I was like, yes, because it was so unpredicted. It was a bad placement to do one, which is why it worked. No one expected Hurts to run up the middle for a touchdown.
Right.
That's when you use those plays, not every down.
But at the same time, they couldn't get the regular running game going. It's just
because they kept running at the gut.
It felt like when Hurts ran the ball, that was like their their answer to like trying to get some yards going. You know what I mean? And then the next play they would run it and they would get like three or four. But
if you look at where Hurts ran the ball, with the exception of that draw play, it was either on a scramble outside or he'll run outside. Like, he wasn't running up the gut unless it was like on a late minute scramble, like once the pocket collapsed. He wasn't doing those he wasn't trying to dive up the middle.
No, you're right.
The front of the defense.
That right. That and it was a great play call at that point in the game. Because I was like, are we going to lose? We're going to lose?
It sure felt like it.
We're going to lose. I don't understand how we wasted 10 seconds in the end of the third quarter and still down by 10 points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What was the point in the fourth quarter coming out of a 2-minute warning to line up to try to get the defense to jump off sides to call a timeout?
Yeah,
that was
what?
What the fuck? Like,
it was bad. It was bad play calling. They only led for 80 seconds of the game. That's all they led. The whole game was 80 seconds. That blows my mind.
It was painful. But you know what? It's I really just want to hope that the captains on both sides kind of step. I will say, I sent it to you. Edwards, granted, he's probably played decently well all season, but best play of the year when he read that running back sweeper outside that little screen play.
Yeah,
that wasn't really a screen, just kind of like an outside kind of swing. Oh God, they were like in field goal range. He takes them right out of it.
Yeah, that was a great play. He's a good player. I think he's underrated around the NFL.
Definitely.
So
he has been.
Yeah. This year has been his top year so far, I'd say. The last year he had so many tackles last year. Now he's really all over playing pass coverage and stuff like that.
I think every game I've seen he had double-digit tackles.
I'd say he is fifth in the NFL in tackles right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, he's having a good year.
That's some decent numbers.
I was going to say, the question I have is, let's just say, hypothetical question coming up. NFL decides to expand, right? And, expansion drafts, they choose players from other teams. Yeah. You can only protect 5 players from the current Eagles roster. Who are you protecting?
Wow.
Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean instantly. Okay. There are defensive captains of the future.
Right.
Okay.
Jordan Mailata.
Jordan Mailata. You have to solidify your left tackle. They're too rare, too good. So that's 3. I would probably want to keep Smith just because he's still young as a receiver. Right. I want to keep one weapon, and then I would probably go
Gardner Johnson. That's a tough question.
As much as I want to go defense, I feel like at this point you'd have to keep your quarterback.
I was going to say.
Jalen.
I feel like you have to.
I was going to say, how do you let Hurts go at this point?
There's others out there.
I mean, there is, but...
I like Hurts. I didn't before. I will say, but I like him now. He's grown. I'm still like...
Skeptical?
A little bit, because I think sometimes I'm not swayed by the points and the scoring as much as I'm looking at how the team itself is running. And like I said, like I mentioned before this last game, like I knew Hero Ball was coming.
Okay.
And I understand that a lot of people have that complex. A lot of players will get into that mentality, but it doesn't make me feel good when it's that obvious.
What I like about him is that he's like Matt Ryan was like pacing back and forth at the sidelines during that game, and he was just sitting calm on the bench waiting his turn. And when he got that turn, he finally drove down and he scored that touchdown. They're saying that was the drive to solidify him as the Eagles' future quarterback in a huge contract at the end of the season because he had that comeback win.
I heard right before that last drive that he was on the sidelines joking around, telling jokes. I mean, the camera had caught him at a couple points in the fourth quarter where he was sitting on the sideline, and it almost looked like he had a dumbfounded face on. I don't know if it was like...
I've noticed that too.
He was just like lip to the side, like staring off into space. I don't know if he was thinking about like the next drive or the last drive or what.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe he was thinking about how bad the offensive play calling was.
Yeah, that too.
I'm not one to say that I can call better plays than a professional NFL offense, but I feel like I could have played better play callings that game. I could have been more.
Actually coached before, and I would like to get back into it. I 100% think I could. I'll be one of those fans. Yeah, I get it.
All right, Jeff Saturday.
I look at the
Wolves.
Mark Thursday. He's Mark Thursday.
I look at it this way: if you're playing Madden and you had a press conference after Madden, and they ask you, "Hey, and why did you do this play?" And like you would feel kind of like, not smart either. You're like, damn, I shouldn't have called that play.
I got it. I'll play again, Madden, and you can. I'll play again, Madden, for you, and you can be the press afterwards. You can watch the game and be like, "Hey, why'd you do that?
Why'd you call that play?"
Because I won the game by 49 points. I called that play. That's why. Because I made the other team eat our backups dirt.
Dude, I just played a game last night. I ran 37 times. I run the ball a lot on Madden. That's
old school football right there.
It is old school football.
But you know what? It's been, if you're looking, I mentioned earlier, you look at the standings in the NFL right now, most teams, the Titans are in the lead. They're a run-first team. The Ravens quarterbacks are run-first quarterback. The Chiefs and Dolphins they're both a little bit more pass-heavy. The NFC, we were in run first. The Cowboys have gotten to run first. They're right up our butts. The Niners have kind of been back and forth, but they've been primarily more on the run. The Vikings haven't leaned on the run as much as they should, and the Buccaneers have had to try to lean on the run, and the Falcons have leaned on the run, and they're both kind of leading on their tied on their division. It's
a right weird now, season, though.
You kind of got to run the ball.
Yeah, run the ball. I think that will do it for us, boys. I think we've had a well-rounded episode about Thanksgiving. I want to say thanks for you to being on the podcast.
Thanks. Thanks to you, Michael.
Thanks to you for setting this together.
This up. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Your time and effort that we're putting into doing this podcast. I guess that's my thankfulness for Thanksgiving is that I'm thankful for this podcast and having you guys being part of it. I appreciate it so much.
Of course. Thank you.
I definitely am thankful for you asking us to join you in this endeavor. Hopefully, we have many, many years of Eagles seasons to be on here.
I think we do. I
think so, yeah.
I just want to give thanks also to, the families that listen and support and the people that, comment and follow and all that stuff. Also, I want to give a shout out to some family members who have small businesses that I told them I would figure out a way to shout them out on here and try to plug their business as well. Dog grooming. If anybody needs dog grooming, we have Jasenia's dog grooming on IG. She's a mobile groomer. Also, we have if you live in the South Jersey area, we have Angel and Sons Landscaping. Get to look that up on IG. You'll see that out there. And also a date night. If you guys out there need to set up an anniversary, a surprise, you want to do something nice, you're not sure how to set up a romantic setting, or if you have a big function that you want, done look nice, go to date night.
On Instagram too, right? They're on Instagram too. Date night, yeah.
Good stuff. I'd like to thank both you guys for this. Mike, thanks for setting it all up. Thanks for having me. Thanks for dealing with I know I get a little crazy. I speak a little faster than most people, so thank everyone that listens that deals with it. I've listened to myself back, and I usually listen to it at 1.2, and I get to myself, I'm like, I need to start slowing down while I speak. But thanks, man. Honestly, thanks for having me. I wanted to do a sports podcast for like 4 years now, and just haven't gotten people to do it. So very thankful, for the setup, and of course, thankful for my family, my daughter, and we'll see how it goes. But go Birds!
Go Birds! Happy Thanksgiving, everyone!
Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving!